Hello and welcome. You're watching News Central Television. I am Judith TB and this is News Central. Now, here are the top stories at this hour. The PDP accuses sacked local government chairman in Osun State of causing violence. Elder statesman and Ijaw leader Chief Edwin Clark is dead. Burundi grapples with refugee influx as M23 rebels of offensive intensifies in DR Congo. Details shortly. Let's get started. The People's Democratic Party, the PDP, has cautioned the sacked local government chairpersons in Osun against causing political turmoil in the state. Debo Ologunagba, PDP spokesperson, accused the former local government chairpersons of instigating violence in the state by attempting to resume office despite a court order sacking them. On Monday, 5 persons were reportedly killed when supporters of the All Progressives Congress APC and those of the PDP clashed over the attempted resumption of sacked APC local government chairpersons who claimed to have been reinstated by the court. The Osun State caucus in the National Assembly and Ademola Adeleke, governor of the state, had accused Gboyega Oyetola, Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, and the APC of backing the resumption of the sacked local government chairpersons. Away from that, Pan-Niger Delta Forum leader Edwin Clark is dead. Clark died on Monday, 17th of February 2025 at the age of 97. Chief Clark was a statesman and an Ijaw leader as well as a politician from Delta State. He worked with the administrations of military governor Samuel Ogbebudia and head of state General Yakubu Gowon between 1996 and 1975. In 1966, he was a member of an advisory committee to the military governor of the Midwestern Region Province, David Edgeworth, and was appointed Federal Commissioner of Information in 1975. Clark was an unofficial advisor to President Goodluck Jonathan. Meanwhile, dignitaries have started visiting his Abuja residence to pay condolence. Among them is the son of the former governor of the defunct Bendel State, Samuel Ogbebudia.
And also, the only plea I would make is that our present government, both at the federal, the states, we should learn from him. Because at the age of 98, he was still relevant and making very important points. So I want to say that condolences to family, including myself, my extended family, everybody. Condolences to Edo and Delta State, parts of Bayelsa State. In fact, my father used to call him the one-man riot squad when Uniben was founded, because he was the son of the University of Benin. So I just thank God for his life, and from here we pray that there's peace, progress, and prosperity for Nigeria, the family, friends, and well-wishers. God bless you. Thank you.
Our Abuja Bureau Chief, Amadin Uyi, is on ground at his Abuja residence and will bring us up to speed on the events happening there. Amadin, many thanks for joining us. What's the mood like at the residence in Abuja?
There are those who, for them, the passing away of Edwin Clark, known by many as Chief Clark, is a celebration of life. They say for him to have attained about 97 years is worthy of celebration. But there are those who have worked with him as part of the struggle, from his days struggling for resource control for the Niger Delta region to when he forayed into, the late Edwin Clark always had an opinion on national issues issues, for those, they say it's a vacuum that cannot be filled. For them is a season and period of pain, because they cannot understand that one who has exerted so much influence on national issues from the Niger Delta region across the Middle Belt, even across the country and down to West Africa, is no longer with us. So for them, it's a period of pain, and they are still finding it hard to grasp that he has left the shores of this world.
Martin, I mean, another statesman, a leader for the Ijaw people and the Niger Delta at large. I can only imagine the personalities and the high-level individuals that have been there. Do you mind just reeling out a few that you have met so far?
For many, especially the political class, the late Edwin Clark's residence has become a mecca of some sort. We've had political leaders from the Niger Delta. We've had the former governor of Bayelsa State, and who is also a senator representing Bayelsa South, who came earlier, Bayelsa West, Seraket Dixon. He was here. We have Senator James Manager from Delta representing Delta East. We've had several, but we also have one notable personality. You know him, Udengs Eradiri. He was the former president. Okay, I'll get it now. The former president of the Ijaw Youth Congress, who is also here. Let's just speak to him. Udengs, for you who had been in this struggle, worked with Chief Clark in the days for agitating for resource control, galvanizing the Ijaw Youth. For the Ijaw Youth, what is the demise like?
Well, history always record events and men. This is another history that have been made. A man like Chief Clark is one that we are going to miss a lot. For me, I was talking to somebody on the phone and I saw his picture on Arise TV. I didn't read what was beneath it. It was the person who now caught the conversation and say, Clark has gone. And that's how I looked at the picture and truly saw what was written. And what came into my mind was that how do we get a replacement? Because he was one voice that became a crescendo on the issues about the Niger Delta. Once he speaks, the entire world listens. Today, we have lost him. You know, when people grow old to 90-something, 85, 90, people are happy when they move on. They say, okay, it's a celebration of life. But for us in the Niger Delta, it is a vacuum that has been created, because even at that age, he had served as the pinnacle of the mouthpiece of the Niger Delta. And so for us, we have lost our leader, and we are here to console with the family.
Can we just get to know two attributes of leadership you think the youths of today and Nigerian leaders can emulate or learn from the late chief?
Experience, critical analysis on issues. He is one man who always look at issues on both sides before taking a position. And so working with him gave us the opportunity to learn how to deal with the issues that affect us as a people. And that, for me, gave us a lot of experience and have created that vacuum that we're experiencing today.
Thank you, Udengs. We are not done yet. We are not done yet. We have another notable Nigerian who will like to speak to on these issues. Your name, sir?
My name is Professor Oladapa Felabi, former head of service of the Federation and Pro-Chancellor Edwin Clark University.
For you, hearing the news, what has been the feeling like?
Big shock. Although 97 going to 98, I felt that he will never die. So that we had the news today is a big shock. But let me say this quickly. I know you don't have a lot of Iroquois in the Niger Delta, but an Iroquois has gone. And very, very difficult to regrow. Chief E.K. Clark was a cosmopolitan. senior citizen. He drew all groups together from all parts of Nigeria. Was blind to ethnicity, was focused on having a better Nigeria. He, with his team, sustained the Southern Nigeria People's Assembly, and with a lot of expenses, there was a common force. There was a sense of commonality to the confab, and you could see how together the North and the South aligned each other to getting a Nigeria that is better than United.
Thank you, Prof. So you've heard it loud and clear from some of the notable leaders, Nigerians who have come. They continue to throng these residents. Just like I said, Chief Clerk was one voice that resonated across all national issues.
I must say thank you so much, Amadinuyi. He's at the residence of the late Pa Edwin Clark in Abuja, just to give us a bit of update on the situation there as condolences are beginning to pour in and visitors are coming into the residence to pay their condolences to a great man and an elder statesman. Now, also joining us is Professor Hope Egaga. He is a Nigerian scholar and writer. Professor Egaga, how did you receive the news of the demise of the elder statesman? Let's start there.
Of course, we do know that anyone who has life will ultimately leave the earth. And at 97, it could have been any time. However, it still came as a shock, because I heard in the most uncertain manner that he had passed. I last spoke with him in January, and he had been managing his health. One thing I admired about him was that in spite of his health, his age, he had a very sharp memory. He could recall events that happened 30 years ago, 40 years, 50 years ago. He was very articulate till the very last. All right, so when the news came to me from a former wife of his that Papa had passed, of course she was in tears. At 97 years, anybody could go, but we still expected him to be around and speak on national issues, speak on issues about the South, about the minorities. He was a national leader. In fact, we see him as a field marshal on South-South affairs. He's gone, and it will be very difficult to replace him.
And I mean, as you're talking about, the fact of how much he's contributed and how difficult it is just to accept that he's gone, what would you remember him for personally? Pa Edwin Clark will be remembered for his forthrightness on all issues. His attempt to build a consensus in the South, Southern Nigeria. His ability to reach out to persons from all across the country. On his contact list, you have people from Sokoto, from Kano, from Yoruba land, everywhere. He related with everybody. And he didn't care whose act was God's, as long as he spoke the truth. Very eloquent. I remember him for his, I don't think we should refer to him as an Ijaw leader. He was a national leader of Ijaw origins. And if you know his ancestry, he's related to almost every tribe, every ethnic group in the South. For example, just after the war, when he was commissioner for information under Colonel Ogbemudia, he sent his daughter to school in Enugu. He then visited the school. And his daughter could have attended Federal Government College Warri or St. Teresa's in Ogeli. No. He said, as part of reconciliation, he sent his daughter to school in Enugu, Queen's College, and then he visited. When he arrived there, he saw the rundown nature of the school, went back to Benin,
And with the aid of his boss, he put together furniture items, all kinds of things, and they were shipped to Enugu to help the school. He did that. And it was when General Gowon saw how good he was, how patriotic he was, how efficient he was, that he requested his help to join the federal cabinet as Federal Commissioner for Information, as they were then called. So he left a legacy. We remember him for being articulate about Southern issues, using a national platform. He spoke about Nigeria, the survival of Nigeria. He challenged leaders at the federal level, at the national level, at the local level, if he thought that they were not living up to expectations. So he was not a tribal leader, he was a national leader who made his contribution. As Federal Minister for Information, he also served the country very well, although under the military. So we have very pleasant memories of him, have a personal relationship with him. We did a book launch in his honor last year, a book, his autobiography. I had done his biography before, around 2007, which was presented. So I know him well, or I knew him well. Well, now we're beginning to refer to him in the past tense, but I can still claim that I know him very well. And he was passionate about Nigeria. He was passionate about all issues in Nigeria. And he was the oldest of the Troika, those three brothers. They had other siblings, but those three were national figures. J.P. Clark, international, was the youngest. Akorede Clark, the ambassador, and then himself. But they came in that order. Ike Clark first, Akorede Clark, the ambassador, and JP. But they left in reverse order. J.P. Clark, the youngest, went first, followed by Akorede, and now Papa has joined. We shall miss him, but as Niger Deltans, we will give him a very dignified, colorful burial to say goodbye.
May you still rest in perfect peace. Professor Hope Egaga, I must say thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you for doing this with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. You're watching news now on News Central Television. Let's go on a short break. When we return, resident doctors at UCH Ibadan declare indefinite strike over lingering power outage. The details of this and more after the break. Welcome back. The Nigerian legal landscape has continued to evolve due to the disruption of digitalization. Now, this was the submission of legal practitioners at the Law Week by the Nigerian Bar Association Surulere chapter. Stakeholders urge legal practitioners to uphold the ethics of the profession, even as they remain digitally inclined. News Central's Ademola Ololade has more in this report.
The judiciary plays a crucial role in upholding the principles of democracy, ensuring the rule of law and safeguarding citizens' rights. It is on this premise that the Nigerian Bar Association Surulere branch at its maiden Law Week emphasizes the role of lawyers in safeguarding democratic values in a changing world.
You cannot have a democracy and then you're sharing the space with terrorists, bandits, and unknown gunmen or kidnappers. So we need to enlighten the society and then for them to understand where we stand.
The digital era is also coming to bring certain mechanism in play to ensure there is access to justice and there is speedy dispensation of justice. Because like they say, justice delayed may be justice denied.
The event, which brought together legal professionals, academics, policymakers and stakeholders, focuses on the integration of digital technology into legal processes while increasing accessibility to justice.
Legal digitech refers to the integration of digital technology into the legal profession, enhancing how services are delivered, managed, and assessed. It involves the use of artificial intelligence, the use of automation, the use of cloud computing, the use of blockchain technology, and other digital tools to streamline legal processes, to improve efficiency, and increase accessibility to justice.
While the emergence of digital technology may have transformed the way the legal profession is practiced, Legal practitioners, however, emphasizes upholding the ethics of the profession, as law remains a highly regulated profession.
Lawyers must embrace technology. There are a lot of changes in technological advancements and that aid legal practice. But in whatever we do, we must not forget the time-honored tradition that drives the legal profession, on which the legal profession is based. We must not, because of the craze to go viral on social media, desecrate our profession, imbibe practices that do not do honor and justice to our profession.
It has opened so many things about AI as regards law, which so many people are overlooking, which we have to advance our minds to in the practice of the legal profession. What is happening today, AI is the in thing, and if we are not careful, definitely it's taking over all our jobs. So we have to be proactive in the way and manner we do our legal practice.
As lawyers embrace this transformation and adapt, key players believe there is need to maintain ethical standards to thrive in the evolving legal landscape. In Lagos for News Central, I am Omolola Ololade.
Doctors at the University College Hospital, UCH Ibadan, have embarked on an indefinite strike, citing prolonged power outages in their residential quarters. Speaking to journalists in Ibadan on Monday, the General Secretary of the Association of Resident Doctors, ARD, Dr. Uthman Adedeji, said the decision followed the hospital management's failure to fully restore electricity to all affected areas. The association had earlier issued a communique warning that members would down tools if power was not fully restored by 4 p.m. on Monday. Although some parts of the residential quarters have been reconnected, others remain without electricity. Mr. Adedeji assured that the association would continue to monitor the situation and review its stance in the interest of its members' welfare and working conditions. And on to security matters, as the Kano State government has set up a committee to profile local and international humanitarian and development organizations operating in the state and to monitor their activities. The secretary to the state government says that the move has become necessary in order to ensure the affected organizations don't tamper with the values, peace and security of the state. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu has the details.
Kano State, located in Nigeria's northwestern region, has had its own fair share of terrorism-related activities in the past, with many in the state still worried that this has not been totally eradicated. At this ceremony holding in the state capital, it seems the government is not taking things for granted, going by the terms expected of the newly inaugurated committees. The secretary to the state government and other officials present hope that out of the two committees being inaugurated, one will focus on profiling and monitoring of non-governmental organizations and donor agencies, while the other on protecting the rights of consumers.
This committee is not in any way intended to wish on anybody, either as a local organization or as a donor organization, but rather just to be on the same page and for us to be in the best picture of knowing every organization that is operating in the state with a view to create more understanding, as well also to create more information about what they are doing, the source of funding, the kind of activities they are doing, where they are located, what they are doing. That is all.
Among other things, profile the NGOs and other civil society organizations that are operating in Kano State, so that the government and the people know who they are, what they are doing, what is their source of funding, and to determine whether there are any negative implication arising from their activities.
The SSG sheds light on the Committee on Consumer Protection, which he says it's coming at a very auspicious time.
It helps government to establish this committee so that the right of the consumer can be protected. He will be protected from adulteration. He will be protected from what we call in Hausa tayo mudu. You know what that means? That a 20 mudu rice is displayed, but when you go home you find 15, and that is despicable.
Both committees have been mandated to punish offenders found wanting and operating outside the ambit of the law. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
The Lagos State government has organized a sensitization program to promote oral care and health hygiene among people with disabilities. Speaking at the event held in Alausa Ikeja with the theme Oral Care, Oral Health, a key to cardiovascular health, the General Manager of the Lagos State Office for Disability Affairs, Mrs. Adeleke Oyetunde Lawal, said the event was designed to address the critical health challenges often faced by individuals with disabilities due to inadequate oral hygiene practices, which can lead to serious health complications. Lawal explained that the event, with a special focus on the oral systemic connection, was intended to protect the heart through oral care, as well as promote better oral health and improve the quality of life for persons living with disabilities in Lagos State.
Many people do not understand how important what goes on in your mouth is, how important what goes on in your mouth is connected to your brain, connected to your gut. And because we have special children, many of them do not have the capacity to, as simple as brush by themselves, do not have muscular strength of their own. And many of them have to be subjected to both occupational and physical therapy to enhance strength in their mouth. And sadly, many of them suffer and live with bad oral hygiene. So the purpose of today's event is to highlight how important all of this is, to pinpoint to the parents how important it is with nutrition and oral health, and also to listen to the parents and have the professional and the experts give key thoughts and advice on how to ensure that these parents and children improve their oral health.
With the beautiful things we've been taught and the awareness, I found out a lot that our dental health and well-being has if not a lot, has everything to do with our what we eat.
They take care of my toothache and I'm no more feeling it. I'm free all right now. So I'm so happy for what they've done for me today.
Farmers in Plateau State have called on government at all levels to wade into the alarming increase in price of farm inputs to enable them make profits after their farming activities. The farmers expressed their displeasure at the drastic reduction in the price of tomatoes in the market. News Center's Chizobanyowe in Jos did a market survey regarding the crash in the prices of these vegetables and now reports.
This is Feringada Market, located in Jos North local government area of Plateau State, where farmers and buyers come in from different states of the country to buy vegetables of different types. Tomato is one of the products traded here. A few months ago, tomatoes sold as high as between 30 to 80,000 naira per basket, but currently the price is between 3 to 6,000 naira. An official of the tomato market gave reasons behind this development.
The availability of the tomato, most of it, 80% to 70%, we know the farmers normally produce at a low quality. It will not be advisable for the interstate market. But those that are in low quality, we normally use it at the domestic use, at home. That is making the price to go down. So those that engage themselves in international or interstate market, that price is still maintained at 6,000.
The consumers couldn't be bothered about the reason for the drop in tomato prices. They are simply happy with the development.
Before we used to buy 6,000, 7,000. Now today market, I bought it 35 and I'm happy.
We thank God for the new price. Now you can see this one. It's now 500 instead of 1,000, 2,000.
Very soon now it will be high. So we are all happy since everybody can eat it.
As the saying goes, one man's meat is another man's poison. So while consumers are pleased with this decline in price, these farmers aren't happy with the development.
The tomatoes now is down. Farmers, we are losing. We are not getting anything because fertilizer,
the mixing chemical and fuel to on the gene is not easy with us. Honestly, we are finding it very difficult. Please, we are praying that we are praying and asking government to come and help us, please.
I'm not happy for the price of the tomatoes now, because last year the tomatoes they cost too much, but this year the tomatoes they plenty because of if you find motor to put to go east, so it's too high. Money for the motor is too high.
Now, with these new prices of the various varieties of tomatoes in the market, it is expected that government at all levels come to the aid of these farmers to make these farm inputs more available for them at reduced cost too. In Plateau, for News Central, Chizoba Aniowe.
Nigeria's National Board for Technology Incubation has called for the enactment of Executive Orders 3 and 5 into law, saying that it will promote local participation in the nation's ICT sector. The new Director General of the agency made this known while taking over from his predecessor in Abuja, saying that this will drive Nigerians to embrace local technology and boost the nation's economy.
Just very recently, somebody came up with the idea of a tri-tractor. And the tri-tractor, if you see the kind of output coming from this tri-tractor, if you help this person to commercialize this product, imagine Nigeria is an agrarian nation, and we can make use of this thing. We don't need to go outside to go and import tractor again if we develop our own local entrepreneurs. And that is the reason why I've always been advocating, even while I was executive director in Nigerian Communication Satellite, that the executive order 003 and 005 on ICT local content has to become an act of parliament. It's not just an executive order alone. They have to become act of parliament, so that if they become law, then Nigerians will embrace our own local technology.
You're watching news now on News Central Television. Coming up, Burundi grapples with the refugee influx amid escalating DRC crisis. This and more just after this break. Stay with us. And welcome back. Thousands of refugees have crowded a camp in Bambuza, Burundi, near the border of Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, fleeing the advance of M23 fighters backed by Rwandan troops. Burundi's Interior Ministry reported on Monday that nearly 10,000 people had crossed into the country in the past 3 days as Rwanda-backed forces intensify the offensive in eastern DRC. Officials say refugees are entering Burundi through the Gumbuta border post or crossing the Rusizi River. The government, in collaborations with the United Nations Refugee Agency, is working to identify civilians, soldiers, and the sick, while also providing shelter and humanitarian aid. The M23 armed group has seized large swaths of territory in recent weeks, displacing hundreds of thousands, and over the weekend entered Bukavu, the capital of South Kivu province.
Hapa tuko watu tofauti tofauti. Kama mimi nimetokea Uvira, kuna waliotokea Bukavu, kuna wengine wanatokea Maplene. Watu ni tofauti tofauti gisi tuko hapa. Muda wa kukusanya vitu hapana. Hapana, kukua kukusanya kabisa, ilikuwa tu naogoa kama vile mimi nilikuja hivi tu. Yaani na mwingine utakutana naye amekuja kivyake, lakini mimi sikuja na kitu. Baada ya kusikia hali ya masasi ambayo sikuelewa kama ni namna gani, nimebahatika kutoka na watoto wawili tu. Mke wangu sijui kwa wapi, nimekuja tu na watoto wawili. Tunachokiomba kwa serikali yetu ni kututafutia amani, kama kisi wanatutafutia amani siku zote, wangetutafutia amani, kwa sababu watu waliopo hapa kwanza ni wengi na tunaweza tukafa na maradhi sana. Kwa hiyo wangetutafutia amani, kwa sababu vita vyenyewe vinaleta mauaji ya kutosha, na labda wangetutafutia amani ili tupate amani.
In the meantime, displaced Congolese in Rwanda are now making their way back across the border into Bukavu, a key city in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, following its takeover by M23 fighters allied with Rwandan troops. While some returnees express relief at going back home, others remain fearful for their safety amid the ongoing conflict. The situation in Bukavu remains tense as regional tensions continue to escalate.
Bon, je travaille à Kamagnola et j'habite à Bukavu. Alors, ça me fait du bien de rentrer chez moi parce qu'à Kamagnola, il y a déjà les sécurités qui abattent là-bas. Il n'y a pas d'activité là-bas et tout est fermé. Mais nous avons pris le courage de partir à la frontière pour venir chez nous. Ici, c'est chez nous et nous avons le droit de rentrer chez nous. Oui.
Je crains parce que je ne sais pas la situation sur place. Je vais entrer, je vais voir moi-même. Je vais partir à un autre endroit. On ne peut pas rester dans un endroit insécurisé.
Moi aussi, je suis heureux d'arriver ici. J'étais parti à Kalemi. En rentrant maintenant, on nous avait freiné à Kamagnola. Là, on rencontrait les soldats de Bukavu sont descendus jusqu'à Kamagnola. Là, il y a eu des perturbations. Maintenant, on nous a dit qu'on ne peut plus quitter Kamagnola pour Bukavu. Nous n'avons pas peur. Nous allons arriver, puisque nous ne savons pas la situation, mais nous allons arriver toujours voir comment ça marche. On ne sait pas jusqu'à maintenant, quand les MP3 ont pris Bukavu, on ne sait pas la situation, comment ça marche.
Libyans are celebrating the 14th anniversary of the revolution that toppled longtime leader Muammar Gaddafi. Now, fireworks, illuminated the sky over Tripoli as citizens gathered to mark the occasion. The anniversary commemorates the event of February 17, 2011, where protests against Gaddafi's regime escalated into a full-blown revolution. Citizens waved flags and celebrated in the streets, reflecting on the country's journey since the uprising. President Luis Abinader has announced plans to extend the border wall with Haiti by an additional 10 to 12 kilometers, increasing the total length to 176 kilometers. Now, this move aims to curb irregular migration and smuggling between the two nations. The border wall project, which began in February 2023, includes a 3.9-meter high concrete wall that is topped with metal mesh. It also has fiber optics, movement sensors, cameras, radar, and drones. The wall is being built in Dominican Republic territory, allowing soldiers to patrol on both sides. The extension is part of the government's efforts to secure the border and reduce illegal activities. However, the project has been met with controversy, with some arguing it will do little to reduce illegal migration and may lead to increased tensions between the two nations.
34 kilómetros, me parece, de Dajabón, al éxito de cómo se ha comportado ese muro, que ha disminuido en un 80% en esa área los robos tanto de ganado como de motores, de vehículos, pues nos están pidiendo que extiendan el muro. Eso va a un proceso de licitación. Y lo que hemos hablado es que pueden ser una extensión de 10 a 12 kilómetros, que es lo que nos permite el presupuesto plurianual, tanto de una parte en este año y la próxima parte para el año 2020.
Nigeria's National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, has reported a decline in the country's inflation rate to 24.48% in January following a rebasing exercise. This adjustment, which involves updating the base year for economic calculations, has reshaped how inflation is measured, leading to a lower reported rate. While this may signal economic stabilization, questions remain about its real impact on businesses, consumers, and government policy. While inflationary pressures are expected to persist in the first half of the year, questions arise regarding the validity of the 15% inflation assumption in the 2025 budget and the impact of these figures on consumer experiences. As the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, convenes, there is growing debate on whether to hold interest rates steady or implement further adjustments. Daniel Effa, Senior Business Development Manager, Marimi Africa, joined us on Business, or rather was on a guest on Business Edge, and he shared his insight on the story. Take a look.
Is high, right, in terms of expectation. The rebasing, I don't know if there is an internal knowledge about what the rebasing figure would be when these projections was made, but I don't think you should base your activity expectation on just on a rebasing. It should be based on your direct input into ensuring prices go down, right? One of the major issues that, apart from the fact that we are working towards stabilizing the oil sector, stabilizing the currency issues, it is still conversation around food, for example. What are the things we deliberately do? So if we can work on the components of headline inflation, right, which is the non-core component, which is energy and food, you can work on those figures in terms of bringing them down, because based on what we have right now, non-core is looking at is looking around food, for example, is around 26 based on the new the rebasing. So if you can be targeting 15% just for food, right, this is achievable, right? But if it is for the headline inflation, it is largely not this year in terms of because what you would need is a consistent 2 to 3% decline, right? Consistent 2 to 3% decline for at least 10 months for you to get to that 15%, and that is a very big call.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. Coming up, CAF referee and video instructor Promise Owaime has urged the Nigeria Premier Football League board to provide referees with professional video footage of matches to improve officiating standards. He emphasized that access to match footage would help referees analyze game situations, reducing errors in future fixtures. Owaime shared his views on News Central Sports show In the Game following the indefinite suspension of referee Kolawole Emmanuel by the Nigeria Football Federation Refereeing Development Unit. Emmanuel was penalized for controversial decisions in Heartland's 2-1 win over Shooting Stars. Owaime believes proper video analysis and training are essential to improving referee quality in the league and preventing similar mistakes in upcoming matches.
Now, talking about how can we make this better, I have been on this crusade for the past 4 seasons, even before the coming of this present board of the MPFL. And even when this board came and the contract was signed with Startime, yes, it was celebration for everybody. Our game is coming back on TV and all that. For me, it wasn't because our game is coming on TV. I was happy because we have an avenue to train our referees, to start to assess our referees, retrain our referees with our own footages. I was expecting that Startime's contract was going to provide us the footage for the games that they cover. I know they don't cover all 10 games in a match day, but for the 4 games that they covered, we should be able to get good footage from those games to be able to use in retraining our referees. What this will do for us is that this referee knows that our game is on TV. They will be very careful. It also put them on their toes. It will make them understand that this is no longer business as usual, because your case will be discussed, your case will be put in public place, or during trainings, you'll become a laughing stock. Nobody wants to be discussed for the wrong reason. That's one. Then 2, it will also help us to prepare, to help us to identify the challenges of
The Queensland government will unveil the final venue plan for the 2032 Brisbane Olympics next month, ending years of uncertainty over key facilities. A panel reviewing venue options will report on March 8th, with the government revealing its response on March 25th. Political disputes over the main stadium and athletics venue have delayed planning since Brisbane was awarded the games in 2021. The former Premier, Stephen Miles, proposed using Lang Pak for ceremonies and QSAC for athletics, but critics called it an embarrassment. The current Premier has opposed building a new stadium, but recently softened his stance. The Australian Olympic Committee has urged a final decision by June to keep preparations on track for the Games. And that's all we can take at this hour, but before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. The PDP has accused sacked local government chairman in Osun State of causing violence. The other statesman and Ijaw leader, Chief Edwin Clark, has passed on at 97. And we also told you that Burundi is grappling with refugee influx as M23 rebels offensive intensifies in DR Congo. As always, you can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, on Star Times channel 274. Find us on Apple TV and stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith at TV.